So there you have it. Old motor is out, sitting on the ground. Got the K-member and control arms, everything required to get the tubular out of the car. And then we have the new heart sitting over here with the clutch and the flywheel. Everything mounted up, ready to go, that can easily be bolted back into this car. You know, if I was keeping the tubular front end in here, you know, motor would probably already be in by now, but just because I want to keep that tubular front end for lemon dropped, I want to be able to have a really clean engine bay in that car. It just makes sense that, you know, for a stock motor or stockish motor that's going to be in here, it's not worth having that full tubular front end. So put this guy more back to stock. I will be taking out the MSD 6 Plus ignition system out of here as well. There's really no point. It's pretty clean in here. Really happy about that. The pull went super easy, as mentioned before. So now the next step is going to be getting this K-member out of here, because this K-member is going to be used in lemon dropped. So to get the K-member out of the car, there's a couple things that we're going to have to do. There's two versions of K-members with control arm setups, as some of you might be aware, for those of you that are not. So some of the control arms are like these, which are a true center offset. So that means that the front wheels are centered in the wheel well. And there's another set of control arms that really drive me nuts. I'm sure there's, you know, reasoning for it, but it's mostly found on race cars, where the front wheels are actually pushed forward a little bit. So you can actually see here how much closer the front tire is to the front of the bumper cover here, and there's more of a gap back there. So those are two different types of control arms that you can get when it comes to tubular arms. Lastly, you can get a version that don't have the perches for springs. So you can see these guys actually have a coil spring in there. If you want to be a coilover kind of guy, you can actually get control arms that don't have the perches. Similarly, the top side of the K-member wouldn't have spring perches there either. So I am probably going to end up going coilover, but I'm going to retain the perches just because you never know. I'm always switching up my stances and my suspension setup, so this will be a good K-member for Project Lemon Dropped. So what I'm going to have to do to get this K-member out, so I'm going to have to unbolt the steering rack here and make sure that it's not sitting on the K-member. It's actually going to end up sitting in the car. It'll stay in here, just as our alternator and power steering pump have. Tried to leave as much stuff in the car that's going to stay with it. From there, what's going to happen is I'm actually going to leave the spindles and the brake calipers, everything fully intact with the steering rack, and we'll pop out these springs, and then from there we'll be able to just remove the whole K-member. So the K-member is held on by a couple bolts in the back, down on these sides, and also the bolts that are up in the inner fender wells here. So that's going to allow us to remove this K-member from this car, and then I'm going to be swapping in the factory black K-member that I just restored. So it's going to be more of a stockish look in here, and if you haven't noticed, I'm kind of keeping the best parts between some of the cars that I have to go into the lemon drop build. So here you can see that I have everything ready in terms of the factory K-member. Got some control arms there ready to go, so those are going to be used. You can see the old spindles that were part of that whole assembly. Those are just sitting over there, might be used for something else. Not sure if I'll need to go back to forlug on anything, but there we go, folks. So that K-member is going to go into there, and once that's in and bolted up, we'll be able to put this motor in that we've got the clutch and flywheel and everything bolted on it. So this thing is all cleaned up, buttoned up, pretty much ready to go. And from there, we'll have a running and driving car again. You guys saw the sped up version on the driver's side of me taking all the spindle and all that assembly off. So I finished it up over on the passenger side here, so you can see the spindle is off, the springs are out, everything is disconnected, the brake caliper's hanging up here, tie rod's hanging loose. Gone ahead and disconnected the steering rack, so all we got to do now is pry that off. The rack can kind of sit loosely in the car. I've taken the steering shaft off already. There was just a bolt on there that got pried out. The bolt was already off from when we pulled the motor because we needed the clearance to get the header out. So that the rack will stay in the car, and then from there we'll be loosening the bolts off that is actually holding the K-member in place. Then we'll drop that K-member out and go ahead and get the stock one put back into place. So interesting enough, the spring perches actually bolt up in there on the top, so might not even need to use these in the end for doing the coilover setup. Alright guys, so I just finished bolting in the steering rack. It was pretty straightforward. I had to take the sleeve and the bushings out of another stock steering rack that I had, just because the tubular, the sleeve with the two-piece bushings is all one piece. So it wasn't really a big deal. So went ahead and bolted that back in. Now I got the lower control arm sitting here. So we're going to go ahead, get these put up into place, get them bolted in, and one step closer to reassembly. Get that spindle on, and away we go. I did a little bit of research on my own page that I've gone through a bunch of aftermarket spring rates in comparison to stock foxbody springs. And so front foxbody 5-liter coil spring, the spring rate's about 400 pounds per inch. And these Eibach drag launch, they start in upper 380 pounds per inch and then go all the way up to about high 400s. So they are stiffer overall than a stock spring, which is good news, but they're a progressive rate, which means it goes soft and then eventually it gets stiffer. So with that said, I'm going to cut 2 full coils out of these Eibach drag launch springs. So that's going to be 2 coils. It's about 3 inches and 3/4 in terms of reduction in height. This is going to get rid of the softer side of the spring, which is going to result in a shorter, stiffer spring here that we're going to go ahead and reinstall on this car for that low look. So you race guys, or you guys that don't like your cars a little bit lower, probably aren't going to like this so much, but the springs are here. I'm going to go ahead and use them. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead, use this cutoff wheel, put my safety glasses on, get this cut, and we'll be good to go. So another important aspect of this is you got to remember
rubber isolators. These have a thickness to them, and they do make up for some of your overall height. That's why some of you guys might wonder, you know, oh, I put iBox springs in my car, my sport lines look like they sit lower than yours. Well, sometimes it can come down to the rubber isolators. So in this case, I'm going a little bit lower on the spring, and if the car does need to come up some, can always jam some isolators in there to make up for a little bit more height. So I'm going to go ahead, get the spring cut up, and get this car back together. Everything's looking really good in terms of alignment, so all the control arms are bolted up to the K-member. Just got to go ahead and torque the bolts up, make sure that everything is nice and tight, because we don't want any of that getting loose on us. Got our springs cut down, so I'm actually going to use the rubber isolator on the flat part of the spring, and that's going to be up at the top so that this part of the spring will sit properly in the little saddle. And when you see the lower control arm, when we pull that down, I'll show you where that part of the spring will seat properly down in there. So we'll go ahead and put these in. Liquids are going to stay in the car for now until I get the other struts, so that way the car can be movable and still roll around. So that's it. So just going to kind of drop this spindle back down. We'll go ahead and put the castle nuts on the top of the ball joint and the tie rod, torque all those down, get our spring in there, and this is one step closer to getting that motor back in. Here we are. K-member has been changed over, all of the stock factory control arms, all of that has been put back into place now. You know, I started this job probably about 11 a.m. this morning, took an hour for lunch, and it's 2:30 now. So in about 2.5 hours, I successfully managed to pull out the tubular cross member that's laying on the ground here and reinstall the factory K-member with lower control arms. I cut springs, reinstalled all the suspension, so this car is now a roller again. I drove this car with the built motor into the shop yesterday. Took about an hour and a half to get that motor out and sitting on the ground, and then again spent about 2.5 hours today to be able to get that K-member out and the stock one reinstalled. Got, you know, the steering arm reconnected to the rack and everything else that we needed to do. Had to put get those factory rack bushings to be able to bolt that back into a factory K-member, but other than that, everything is good. It's all bolted up. It looks nice and clean in here. So the next step is going to be wheeling this into the shop and putting that motor down into this engine bay. If you didn't notice already, the car is sitting much lower even with no motor in it. It's probably even sitting lower with no motor in it than it was sitting originally with a motor in. So we took about 2 full coils out of the springs. Should have a really good stance. Once everything is back together, then I will go ahead and cut some material out of the rear springs and we'll get a nice stance on this car.